friends. I'm excited to be talking to probably the person that knows Disney, lives Disney, breathes Disney, and is just all things Disney so much that she actually lives in Orlando to be close to Disney. And that is one of my favorite HR people and somebody that's part of my HR circle. We are so excited to be talking to Amanda Brunson. Amanda, how is your HR day going?
Hi, Tina-Marie. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. If I can say that, I think you release these on a different day, but today's Friday. We're talking, and it's a good day. I've been able to get some things done, and we're living life and waiting for the weekend.
Yes, that is fabulous. And so it is Friday. So I am sporting Falcon Fridays, BGSU mom. I may or may not be wearing Bowling Green. Underneath this is the Falcon mom, but excited to be chatting with you on HRUnite Convos for Connection. So Amanda, you know by now that we do ask everybody two questions here on our conversations for us to get to know the people of our HR and our HRUnite community better. And you are such a great ambassador for our HRUnite community. So I want to thank you for that. And it wouldn't be a July and Frankenmuth if we didn't get to see Amanda in Michigan. So just wanted to put that out there. But Amanda, I know you very well, and I'm a huge fan. And I will say, if somebody looked up HR business partner in the Googled it, under images, there would be a picture of you because you demonstrate that so well. But not everybody is as fortunate as me to know your story. So Amanda, tell us your HR story. So what led you to be a steward of people?
Well, no, I appreciate you asking, and I'll try to make what can sometimes be a long story fairly short. I've been in Florida now, and I moved to Florida about 11 years ago to get my master's in HR. That was really what started it. Was my aspirations to want to be in HR, to want to be, as you say, a steward of people. I wanted to be able to help people make their dreams come true. Being a Disney fan, right? And so through school, through different jobs, I did an internship when I first moved to Florida, and that really helped me get to my first job out of college. In fact, I had an HR generalist role like right out of college, which is very rare. But it was because of the networking and the connections that I had made while I was in school and with various people. It just so happened that I had people that had my back, and they're like, Amanda could do this. And so, I went into that HR generalist role for a couple of years. And then, through just needing to find something new after that, I landed where I'm at now. And again, it was because I had made so many connections over the years. And even though my number of years in HR at the time was limited, 3 or 4 years at that moment in time, I was able to say, look, my network of people is so large that it doesn't matter that I'm interviewing for, a department of one. I can do it because I can just pick up the phone and call somebody, and they can help me, figure out whatever I need to know. And I mean, honestly, I think that's what got me the job that I'm kind of in now. It has evolved after an acquisition, but now I'm a people business partner for a company called Sabre. We are we support the travel industry through the technology that we create, and I've been there. It's been over 6 years now. It's crazy. It's so hard to believe that, but I absolutely love it. I love the group that I get to work with. Our organization is split into different business units, and so I primarily partner with the technology, engineering, and operations group, and they are just wonderful people. I love working with them, and so I've been working with them primarily for about 3 years, and so it's wonderful.
You mentioned, and I think this is so critical, and I know it's a philosophy that you live through your actions, is that HR helping HR or HR supporting HR philosophy, and that if you don't know, you know somebody that can help support or point you in the right direction, which I think many in our community struggle with because we get wrapped up on what's going on amongst the four walls to which we service and support, that we forget to look outside. And so I'm going to second that question to say, I know that you built your network through impactful connections, and you did that through various ways, including blogging, being of service, or just genuinely getting to know people because you are such a kind-hearted person. And so if the door wasn't open, you just went and opened a door for yourself. So if there's somebody that's listening that's newer to the profession or just in general, or doesn't know how to build those connections with others, can you give them one or two tips?
Just sure, don't be afraid, to open those doors. I know that it can be a little intimidating, especially when you don't know anyone. And that was really what happened to me. Was when I moved to Florida, I didn't know anyone, but I was at a Greater Orlando SHRM chapter meeting within the first couple of weeks of moving down here because I wanted to get to know people. And so I took a leap, and it worked out really well. I think that would probably be my number one tip, is just not being afraid to take that leap.
And put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's where there's always somebody that will be open to connecting with you, if you are open to connecting with them.
Of course.
All right. So, and thank you for sharing that tip because I know networking is hard. But you do it very deliberately and very conscious. You're very conscious about who you invest your time with, and not for the sake of just getting something from those networking aspects. You give as much as you receive, and so that's how you nurture a great network. And in the case of yours, it's opened career opportunities because of it. It's like a garden. We got to nurture it to make it grow. So if there was one moment, I know there's many moments in your HR career, but if there was one moment that shaped your HR career or had the most impact or influence, what was it?
See, I knew you were going to ask me this, but it was hard for me to pick between two. And mostly because as someone grows in their career, there are different moments that define each segment and each chapter, I guess you could say. And so while I was getting started and kind of growing and learning, I had a teacher, a professor at Rollins, where I went and got my master's degree at. And the way he taught and the way that he got us to think about things, I still use some of that philosophy today. I wish I could remember he taught two different courses, and I can't remember which ones they were. They were probably around leadership or something like that. But he would teach us how to present in the senior leadership type forum, to be proactive in how you think about things. And so I still use that today, because I'm like, okay, if I'm going to go and present to our CIO, what is it that he's going to want to know? And I try to have all of those questions answered before I ever get into that room. And that is something that Dr. Marino taught when we were in classes. So that's the number one as far as like how I operate. But if I can just really quickly also say, another very defining moment for me was when my role was eliminated at my previous job, because I just figured I would be there for years. I had no idea, right? And so when that happens, you kind of get thrown for a loop and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? And that role elimination led me to Radix, which then Radix got acquired by Sabre. And I'm in, like I said, over 6 years there now. And it's the best thing that ever could have happened to me. So I want to say that when you find yourself in a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, what has just happened? What am I going to do now? Know that there's a reason why that happened, and it will be okay. It may take you some time to figure out the reason why, but everything kind of happens the way it's supposed to. So I hope it's okay that I shared a couple different things, but I feel like it's just so important to talk about just the different chapters and what kind of events can impact you at different times of your life.
And I celebrate both of those moments. And I want to celebrate your professor that was teaching you to be aware of the audience and apply concepts to say, what do I expect they want to know, and be prepared to answer that. Because when we think HRBP, like literally, and you already know you are a winner of the inaugural HRUnite HRBP Excellence Award, but it's that's part of what makes you such an effective HRBP, because you're able to translate and provide and anticipate to be able to present information that the audience, relevant to the audience to which you're speaking. And oftentimes in HR, no fault of many of us, we know how to speak HR. We don't know how to speak or translate into what the business verbiage. So celebrating that. The other piece is thank you for sharing that story about what happens when a door unexpectedly closes. Whisper nudges, kicks, and shoves. Sometimes that shove will lead to another door that again, there's a company out there that needs you. And sometimes you've done all you can. You get nudged to go to that next opportunity that's waiting because that organization needs you, or you need them as well. So thank you for sharing that story, because in the moment we may not see that, but sometimes we go through that experience and it's going to help us come out better in the long run. So thank you and I want to celebrate both of those moments. So Amanda, is there anybody out there in the HR community that we need to connect with, that you can think of, wow, this person is so awesome, everybody needs to know them? So this is your opportunity to give a shout out to somebody in the HR community, and we're going to celebrate them.
Oh my gosh, there are so many great people, Tina-Marie, yourself included, but I think if people are watching this, they know you already. I think I would have to go with my friend Claire Stroh. She's based in New York, and she and I have gotten to know each other very well over the last several years. We were working together through the Young Professional Group, through SHRM, and we've just stayed connected over the years. She is such a wonderful resource for those that are, emerging into the HR profession, because she will teach you everything you need to know. And so I would highly recommend connecting with Claire.
Claire's motto is Claire shares.
Yes.
So Claire also somebody we so appreciate. I'm doing a little heart like there. Love Claire. But at the end of our conversation, there will be a slide. You'll be able to connect with Amanda. You can reach out and connect with Amanda as much as you can reach out and connect with share with Claire. Claire shares. See, I can't even talk today, tongue-tied. It'll allow you to connect with Claire Stroh, and we will have their information as well. But Amanda, I just want to say thank you for all you do to help your organization be a better steward of people. And thank you for showing the world what an HRBP should, that raising that bar of what that standard should be. Always appreciate you. And I always get excited every time that you grace us with your presence in Frankenmuth in July at our HRUnite conference, and all you do in general. So thank you for being part of my HR circle, and hope others, and thank you for sharing your story, and so that others can connect and benefit like I've been blessed to do with you. So appreciate you, and we can't wait to celebrate you and others on future HRUnite Convos for Connection.
Thanks, Tina-Marie.